Hello ladies and gentlemen, if you want to quit social media, please take it with a grain of salt, because social media is that platform that brings sadness in your life, is that platform that makes you look strange in the front of your friends, is that platform that... The question is it so painful? I have to tell you one thing. I remember in the first 2 hours that I was typing FACE and then I was pressing enter. And I realized that this is something I do really often. Let me get my notes. But after I logged out of my profiles, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, found out, man, my life is more peaceful. And not by a bit, but by a lot. I uninstalled the Facebook main app, so I kept only the Messenger because, you know, I keep in touch with my friends and family, and I completely uninstalled Instagram. But Facebook was the worst. I had all the junk, like people inviting me to some stuff, ads from weddings and pictures with parrots and cats, and get out of my life. Now, another weird part with Instagram was that they don't allow you to see their content unless you have an account. So I found this a little bit pushy because they're trying to make you create an account. You cannot separate the chat from the real app, and that was my biggest problem. They advertised somewhere down that they acquired most of the networking apps. So most of the applications that I'm using is currently owned by Facebook. It was another moment at around the middle of the challenge when I realized another thing. The phone app and the SMS function of our phones is almost dead. I'm using the calling function only when I have to talk to an institution who doesn't represent a real person. So this is going to change as more and more companies offer support via chat. Next idea. If we talk about the challenge and the timeline, the challenge was split in two, and in the first 2 weeks it wasn't hard at all to stay away from social media. That's mostly because I focused myself doing work. I knew that I had a small addiction for social media, so I started to dig a little bit deeper into what addiction is and how you can solve this and make it work a little bit. And here's what I found. Very, very interesting. Every addiction has to be replaced with something else. So it's not usually that easy as I'm just quitting. Of course you can do this. You know, scientists usually recommend, if you give up addictions, to replace that time that you spent on that addiction with something else that gives you more or less the same feeling. And here I can talk about smoking. If you are addicted by the movement, then it's quite easy to quit because you don't have the addiction from the tobacco. It's actually much more advisable to go to a doctor and talk to a doctor before giving up to a very bad addiction. That was the disclaimer.
Next idea.
How my life has changed after quitting social media. You are wondering. First of all, I found myself being a little bit more active and walking much more than before, because why not? I started to replace social media with something else. So I subscribed to Audible. So I was doing two things in one, walking or doing sports and listening to audiobooks. Plus. Good. I saw that I was more prone to bring my hobbies in the foreground. So I was playing guitar much more than before. No. I was reading much more than before. I was filming much more than before. And I was editing much more than before. This sounds like a commercial. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. We all somehow feel that social media is just... I will just scroll for 5 minutes. 30 minutes later, you're like... Guys, I'm more present. I'm more here. I'm living more the present moment. Facebook and social media, they put your imagination to work in a bad way. They show you your friends, like how good their life is, and then you start thinking about how bad your life is. But by not having that in your life, you're just focusing your attention to yourself, which is amazing, because it gives you time to plan for the future. Who am I? That's the question that haunted me for a long time. I think you're the only one who is able to say stop to something that harms you. think I'm done.